Hello, this is Lauren Brantley Books, and I'm here today with a review of A Rush of Wings by Laura Weymouth. A Rush of Wings is based off the Grimm's fairy tale The Six Swans, in which a widower king remarries a woman who turns out to be an evil witch. The king has 6 sons and a daughter. The king, fearing that his new wife will harm his children, sends them away to live in a cottage in the woods and visits them in secret. One day, however, the evil stepmother finds out about this and curses the boys to turn into swans. They are able to regain their human form for only 15 minutes each night, and they tell their younger sister that the only way for her to break the curse is to sew 6 shirts made out of nettles. In addition, she cannot talk while she works to break the curse, or her work will fail. A Rush of Wings follows the basic setup for the 6 swans with some major changes. For one, the protagonist is no longer the daughter of a king, but a normal peasant girl. The brothers have also been reduced from 6 to 3, and her love interest is no longer a king but a boy named Gawain. The book begins with our protagonist, Rowena, waiting to learn magic from her mother, but constantly being told she is too temperamental to be disciplined enough to learn magic, and her mother tells her to be patient and wait for the day her mother deems her ready to learn. However, when Rowena is 18, her mother is killed by a hideous creature known as a Fuath, leaving Rowena with no way to learn magic. She is able to hear the voice of the wind, but other than that, she does not know how to work magic, and now she has no way of knowing. However, a few months later, her mother reappears, apparently back from the dead. However, Rowena suspects that this isn't her mother at all, but some creature shape-shifted to look like her. She's right. Her mother is actually a creature known as a Fuath, and it's the same one the real mother always worked to keep away from her community. The Fuath, still disguised and impersonating Rowena's mother, curses Rowena's brothers and Gawain to turn into swans by day. The Fuath also curses Rowena to be unable to speak while the boys are swans. The curse breaks by night, but the caveat is that each night the time the boys are able to regain their human forms will shrink until they are swans permanently. Rowena is accused of causing the curse herself, so she has to flee with her brothers and Gawain and find a way to break the curse before it's too late. I really enjoyed this book. I liked Rowena's spitfire, take-no-nonsense personality. She was a very driven character, and I liked watching her have to suffer and work hard to break the curse. There's something I really love about really gritty heroines being put through the ringer that appeals to me. The descriptions of her working to break the curse involved a lot of physical agony, and I really felt Rowena's pain as she worked. The descriptions of this book are wonderful and conjure up so much good imagery. The sea is especially described beautifully. Laura Weymouth really knows how to describe the different moods of the sea. The sea is almost a character in its own right. It gets described so often and so well. I also like the connection between Rowena and the wind. The way Rowena speaks to the wind and later controls the wind reminds me of how wind magic worked in another fairy tale retelling I love, The Goose Girl, by Shannon Hale. Seeing Rowena come into her own power was very satisfying. Wind magic also has a darker side, and we get to see Rowena eventually struggle to do the right thing by her magic. There's always this threat that when she uses her magic, she could give into her darker impulses and use the wind for evil just like her mother feared she would. I think it was a smart decision to reduce the number of brothers down from 6 to 3, because by reducing the number of brothers, it allowed each one to have more screen time to show their personality. Duncan is the hothead of the group, Liam is a stern, more responsible one, but can be a bit cynical, and Finn is the curious, sweet child of the brothers. Gawain is also not exactly who he seems, and he has his own secrets he's keeping from Rowena. I think it was also good that Laura Weymouth kept the part of the original story where the boys transform back for part of the day, because having them be in swan form all the time would remove their agency from the story. The nights when they are human again is when we get to see their personalities really shine, and it adds to the story as a whole. I particularly like Liam's personality shift that happens toward the end of the book, and at the end he makes a pretty selfless decision that has big ramifications for him. There's definitely tension between Liam and Rowena, as Liam was the only brother she told the truth of how their mother died, killed by a Fuath. The other she just told that her mother slipped off a cliff into the sea. Liam did not believe Rowena, and this has driven a wedge between them. And through the book, we get to see them work past that divide, leading to Liam's selfless decision at the end. It was a nice payoff. There was a historical element to the fantasy. The story takes place in Scotland. A time is never specified, but based on the details we are given about the story, it likely takes place in medieval times. A plot point in this book is Scotland is being invaded by England, so it likely takes place between the 1300s and the 1600s, as those were the times where the English were invading Scotland in real life. I like that this story brings attention to this last discussed occupation in history, even if the story itself is fantasy. I really liked Rush of Wings, and I definitely recommend it if you are interested. I think this book would appeal to anyone who likes fairy tale retellings as well as just a good YA medieval fantasy. I'm Lauren Brantley Books. Please let me know if you have any suggestions of what I should review next. If you want to hear more reviews from me, feel free to subscribe. Also, a like on this video goes a long way. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.